Hi and welcome back to Series 2 of Take 10 with Colliers. I'm Georgie Griffiths, positioned within the Retail Capital Markets team, and in this podcast I interview industry trailblazers across different commercial real estate sectors. Today I'm being joined by Kenneth MacKenzie, who is founder and chief executive at Target Fund Managers. Thank you so much for agreeing to join us today, Kenneth.
Pleasure.
If it's okay with you, I think it would be great if we could just start off by giving a quick overview of Target Fund Managers and the types of assets that you hold in your various portfolios.
Yeah, we're a specialist manager in senior living. We exclusively invest in that sector, in particular modern purpose-built care homes. We have 3 funds investing in the sector. Around about 100 homes today in our portfolios, and we're very focused on that sector. We know it really well. We understand it really well.
And speaking to you is obviously very topical. Not surprisingly, the healthcare and care home sector has been in the press a lot over the last 12 months. So I guess it'd be interesting to understand how you think the pandemic and COVID has affected the sort of operational management of your care homes.
So first of all, remember that we're purely a landlord. So our role is owners of real estate, working with underlying tenants, operators of the homes. Yeah. We're pretty unusual in that we have 27 different tenants. So we've highly diversified our landlord base with lots of different operators providing us the income. They have found it challenging, emotionally exhausting, physically exhausting, and we have also found it, I have to say, very inspiring, because the devotion that our tenants and their carers have shown to their residents has been exemplary. In terms of the way we do our own role, we describe ourselves as an engaged landlord. We have a team of 3 people who have run their own homes in depth, who have been in various businesses, who really understand operating care homes really well. They obviously could have had to stop visiting the homes in the way they've done previously, but we've done well over 1,000 visits virtually. We've supplied extra iPads to the homes so that they can speak better to the residents, so that the home managers can take the iPads round and show us what's happening in the homes. So it's had a big impact, but we've been glad to be able to get through it and get to a situation where today 100% of the homes have had vaccinations.
Oh wow, that's amazing. You mentioned before that the sort of quality of your care, the care homes that you buy is part of your USP. Has the pandemic highlighted any changes to the types of buildings that you'll look for in the future?
It has confirmed us in our view that the kind of buildings that we have actually been encouraging and acquiring for over 11 years are absolutely the right ones. The advantage of a modern purpose-built home with wet rooms in every bedroom is that the resident can be isolated in their own bedroom because full toileting facilities are available, showering facilities are available in their own room, or in their own wing, or on their own floor. Yeah. So there are various points at which isolation can happen. So we've been really very encouraged by how the homes have operated, and in fact there's a webinar on our website where some of our care home managers speak about how they believe that they could not have coped in some of the older homes in the way they were able to cope so magnificently in our modern purpose-built homes. So it's actually been a kind of humble privilege to understand what's happened when you provide devoted people the right kind of physical assets to be able to provide the care that is needed.
Yeah, definitely. I had a listen to your webinar, actually. It was really interesting. Really nice to hear from all of the sort of individual care home
wasn't it?
Operators. Yeah, really nice. I guess if we touch a little bit more on the investment side then, how do you think that the pandemic has affected investment in the healthcare sector?
Continued demand and greater demand for modern purpose-built homes, really. We are seeing tenants, the potential tenants that we spoke to 6-8 years ago, who were operating the old stock, the stock from the 90s, the old houses, and making profits on all of that, and they can be continued profitable. Just a whole bunch of these people saying, you know, you told us 8-10 years ago that we needed to change and upgrade our stock. We absolutely recognize we have, and we're actively working with people like that today to be able to help them improve the physical real estate and acquire more appropriate assets for the future. You have to remember that this sector comes from post-NHS creation, when there weren't geriatric wards being built so much, started off in the big old homes and so on. And, you know, we surely need to be part of the future with modern purpose built.
In terms of, I mean, obviously the UK, we have an ageing population. Do you think that there's enough supply coming through to support that? Supply
has always been the challenge in the sector.
Yeah.
We've only really ever been buying in about 20% of the sector.
Okay.
But one of the things that's interesting is that if you go back half a dozen years, 13% of the care homes of the sector had wet rooms. Today it's 26%. It's very clear what the trend is.
Yeah.
And there will be more of the more appropriate product coming through in the coming years, and we're actively engaging in that.
Okay, well, no, that's good to hear. I think it's it's definitely a trend we're going to see more of going forward.
Yes.
Okay, if it's all right with you, we're going to do a couple of quick fire questions now. So the first one is, if you had to pick 2 things that you think we'll see change in the care home sector over the next couple of years, what would they be?
So I think the carers are better valued, and I think that's really important. Remember, this is always a service business, and having the right ethos within the business and honouring the people who deliver the service is really important. And there will be vastly more care homes with wet rooms everywhere.
And what advice would you give to someone looking to invest in a care home or a set of care homes at the moment?
If it's the physical real estate, it's probably better to do it diversified, because there is risk. And don't believe that you can do that on your own. Have a specialist manager to look after your interests who understands all of the risks in the sector.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our episode. So thank you very much for joining us again, Kenneth. You can now listen to more episodes of Take 10 with Colliers in all of the usual places: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And to find out more about who we'll be speaking to in the next episode, please follow us on our social channels: LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you very much for listening.